I'm like excited to get Malicos in my hands. We are in the final countdown. 1 week from today, we're going to have Malicos inside of our arsenal, at least mine. I hope you guys can get it as fast as possible in yours, because I really believe this is going to be like the next Darth Malgus-like character that's going to reign supreme in Grand Arena for like at least a year, and then they might add like Jedi Knight Cal Kestis Part 2 and then completely dunk it. I want to get over here and really just kind of sit down and do kind of like a reminder deep dive on some teams. I think Malicos is going. I've been getting so many comments on my live streams and videos. Like, people are excited about this character just as much as I am. This year has been a little snoozy on the conquest side of things. Trench, Scythe, it kind of and then Fury Class Interceptor was probably the most important thing to come out this year, but I don't think they're going to mess up on this character. The last conquest character for 2023, before we probably unlock the next one in January 2024. Likely best guard Gideon. I kind of want to sit here and just kind of talk about some team theory crafting to kind of get us prepped and excited for next week. I really think there's a deadly team that's lingering and waiting to see the light of day. I don't want to do a full entire kit review on this, but we've already done one. Card in the top right hand corner if you want to go back to the kit reveal where we go in depth. But there's some things we didn't have in the kit reveal that might be important to bring up, and a couple of key points I want to pull out of the kit for our grander conversation. So first thing you might notice, 140 base speed, that is not fast in the game. However, I'm not going to be too concerned about that. 140 kind of puts you in the range of like Night Scissor Zombie, Darth Nihilus. Not very fast, but I promise you, you aren't going to notice that he's got a slow base speed. We're going to go through Seer Junda, how she's going to make him fast. Lord Vader, how Lord Vader make him fast. It's kind of weird. If you recall, it was a bit odd. Like Lord Vader fought Maul, it's not a great team. Maul is so important for the Lord Vader lineup to operate, but they claimed that Malicos will be an option if you want to use your Maul elsewhere. The question is, will Malicos be able to do what Maul does for Lord Vader and make it so it's not a complete pushover? I doubt it. So I have some other options that, assuming that Maul needs to still be used, I would love it though. Imagine having Maul with your Mandalorians again. It breaks my heart. I love the Mandalorians, but if I wanted to use Lord Vader, I really need Maul. Anyways, but they did say the primary home is going to be the Seer Unaligned Force User Squad. That's going to be the most evident thing as we're going to kind of break down here today. So, all right. Quick bullet points here. The overarching thing is that there's a lot of, it seems like on paper, paper's one thing, and practicality is going to be a whole other thing when we get our hands on it. This guy should hit pretty darn hard. Attacker, lots of offense ramping for him, and not even just him, for the rest of the team. If the allied leader is a Dark Side of Light to Unaligned Force user, so most likely calling out Seer Junda. Malicos has ways to ramp up his own critical damage and offense, and his unique ability also has got ways of handling that, but he's going to make sure he's open up opportunities to land big hits, invulnerable on all enemies, stuns on target enemy, and then the stun can't be resisted, increasing the cooldowns of target enemies. My gosh, pretty nuts. If the whole entire team is unaligned forces, this could be an important paragraph when we talk about the Starkiller lineup, as well as talking about Lord Vader, but I don't think this is going to be a big problem, especially for Starkiller Seer Junda. If all allies are unaligned forces to start a battle, while Malicos at least has one stack of Edge of Madness, not going to be very hard to have. Whenever he scores a critical hit, which should be pretty much all the time with his high critical chance opportunities, the vulnerable, all the other allies that are unaligned forces get 5% critical damage and offense stacking throughout the rest of the battle. And this right here makes the standard unaligned force user Seer Junda team basically no more Bad Batch counter. And that's, Seer Junda in Grand Arena, Omicron turned on. It's kind of a tough cookie to crack. Luckily, Bad Batch have kind of eked their way in, but she's already anti-daze. This is anti-healing immunity, which basically means the thing that makes Bad Batch semi-usable, it's not going to work anymore, because the second the team gets healing immunity, which is all the time at Bad Batch Echo, they dispel it, they get damage immunity. Good luck having Bad Batch do anything at that point. And again, if you try to roll again, like Echo gets another turn, I'm just going to pull that damage immunity off. He applies healing immunity, so then again, getting damage immunity on the team. So it seems like Bad Batch is not going to be a viable counter anymore, and that might mean we need to force a Traya, and that Traya is kind of a big deal ticket with her Omicron. And same thing, anti-stun. Whenever anyone's afflicted stun, dispel it, recover 10% of health protection. It sort of feels like what Starkiller does for his team, where he kind of makes it anti-daze, anti-stun. It kind of bringing a degree of that. One thing that we will bring up in a Lord Vader team, this is going to be helpful. You don't need a full unaligned force user team for this. Anytime an enemy's defeated, allies can't be by allies, they can't be revived. And even if he's defeated, it still exists. Kind of a big deal. So it'll work pretty much in any lineup. Technically, you can throw him in a bounty hunter lineup, and if, boss gets a kill, they can't revive at that point. So here's another thing right here. This is the big deal, and this is going to be useful even in a Lord Vader squad, but very much helpful in a SWGoH squad. Dark side, light side, unaligned forces, allies will be reduced to 1. They were reduced to 1% health. If Malicos is active, he's basically like Jedi Knight Revan. Gives them 100% health and protection. Gives them damage immunity. They take a bonus turn, and they gain critical chance of critical damage of offense up, which is pretty nuts. And anytime an enemy with less than 100% turn meter is getting turn meter, he's getting an Edge of Madness stack. And we already said Edge of Madness can be kind of important to ramp up the damage on his team. And this is just a word of vomit. Lots of max health on him and extra master increases on him. Yeah, I mean, you know, it also seems overkill. Malicos attacks can't be evaded. Enemies defeated by him can't be revived. So it's like double anti-revive. So you're going to really stay dead here. I mean, guys, you can read us lots of offense stacking on the team. Other health steal regeneration gains. Lots of critical damage up. He's boosting the team quite a lot. You know, we're not going to go into, because I really feel like I'm going in kind of a kit reveal territory. Point being is, these are the teams I'm really imagining he's going to work with. Let's break them down. I think the number one team, we'll have to wait and see if it's open to like a bounty hunter counter or like General Grievous. I can't imagine working, but I have a feeling it's not going to work. I'm thinking Starkiller, and this has been a conversation I've been seeing a lot. I just really want to finally get my teeth in it and enjoy the juices of the Starkiller lineup. It sounds like a big ask, but at the end of the day, a character will go to their best use, and that's generally, if they make a deadly defensive team, that's where it's going to go. Like, sure, Malicos works with Sith Eternal, but wouldn't you rather have a really great defensive team with the Sith Empire? That's kind of how it works. So there might be a chance this is where it's going with, but we need to talk about SWGoH first and the things she's offering. The most important thing at the end of the day is that SWGoH is getting tons of max health, max protection, bonus protection. And remember, bonus protection is based off max health, and there's a lot of max health gains here, a lot of max health gains in Malicos. That protection up, don't sleep on it. It's going to be kind of a big deal here. And remember, it's more important. Let's go to the Omicron. You're getting that 30% max health, max protection. You're immune to ability block in days. That's nuts right there. Anytime at the start of an encounter, you're going to get 75% protection, which is pretty nuts. And the more important thing, as you get all of the offense and critical chance, the critical damage stacking, that happens here anytime enemies are taking their turns. This is one of those weird situations where you don't want to go, and the more turns the enemy takes, the more powerful this team's going to be. And of course, remember, they can keep up. You know, it's not like they're just sitting there the whole entire time. They're going to keep up as the enemy team takes their turns, gets all their turn meter. They'll keep up, and they won't be just sitting there like, you know, a cold stone and just waiting for you to just die, basically. She's going to make sure you stay up and running. And one thing that's odd, you know, I'm in hindsight, I kind of have this additional level of questioning. We know that there was a lot of Jedi callouts throughout her kit. We thought, all right, maybe that's because, you know, it's more of a lore call out because of Cal and her prior experience as a Jedi. But it's making me wonder if now that we're seeing Malicos and the fact that Starkillers might be on the menu here, you think they maybe added these Jedi clauses because for the Starkiller lineup, you need a Jedi to get the full benefit out of there's much conflict in you. So it's kind of interesting to see. Nonetheless, whether or not it's a lore reason or maybe a future reason of Malicos Starkiller, the point being is it's going to be beneficial because you need a Jedi on a team. Only down to the SWGoH doesn't really have a lot of Sith connections, but that's where Starkiller comes in. So let's talk about Starkiller real quick. Let's just, you know, we don't need to really beat around the bush. There is much conflict. This is what makes Starkiller Starkiller. You're getting the extra critical damage. You're getting 100% max protection, the 35 speed, and another 35 speed once you get Omicron. You're already immune to daze and stun, so it's kind of double anti-daze overkill and anti-stun because when you have Malicos, you can't get stunned on a team. And then, of course, you get the extra speed, the extra damage reduction on enemies with debuffs on them. But here we go. Sith allies using it basically. You notice I have Savage in there. You know, it's kind of a placeholder, but Savage gets a lot of turn meter. He takes a lot of turns. He's always using basic. He never uses a special ability overpower unless there's an enemy below 50% health. And man, that's gonna be great to have just in general. You know, as your team's beating up someone, Savage comes and finishes the job up. Point being is Starkiller is getting a lot of turns in here because of Savage. Lots of turn meter. Always using basic. So much critical hit immunity to the team. I mean, there's just a lot going on. Malicos helping out this, but you're also getting critical hit immunity on this team as well. So remember, this kind of satisfies the conditions required for a Starkiller lineup. If you're dark side unaligned forces, light side unaligned forces, you have your Jedi, and you have your Sith character. And remember, Malicos, as we said, let's say, you know, generally, what do you do in a Starkiller lineup? When you're trying to beat Starkiller on defense, you try to gun down Starkiller first. Because once he goes, the team kind of goes away. But I will admit, you still have Terran Malicos. That's another priority on the SWGoH lineup. So even though you get Starkiller out, you still got a lot of problems on your hands here. So if Malicos can save Starkiller, give him 100% protection, give Starkiller that bonus turn, all of the extra buffs when Starkiller takes that bonus turn, and give him damage immunity, that's going to be pretty insane for the Starkiller lineup in general. So that's why I'm kind of saying this sounds like a whole other level of deadly. And same thing, you know, he could be save Seer Junda. Now the Jedi slot, I don't know. I'm kind of like throwing a couple things up in the air. I don't know how crazy we want to make this team until we see it on defense. There might be some weird situation, guys, where maybe we might, I can't imagine. I just really can't. It just sounds so expensive. But this team could be just freaking nutty, and it doesn't sound crazy. Like, imagine Jedi Knight Cal Kestis with Seer Junda. You know, we've been saying how Jedi Knight Cal Kestis just, you know, kind of obliterated Malicos. And, you know, his time is kind of coming to a close. We talked about that. But what if Cal Kestis goes here? We know Cal Kestis has some decent plug-and-play uses in general. You know, he's got his windmill dispense. He can cleanse all debuffs and get all this other fun stuff, protection up on the team. And, of course, he's got the insta-kill at the end of the day, that on Impetuous Assault. So there might be a reason to see that. Maybe we might see something crazy like Jedi Knight Luke Skywalker. I'm just putting Ben in there because he taunts for Starkiller. He's got the ability block, determined reduction. It just sounds like it could be pretty solid on paper. And then there's Savage. Now, this could be very expensive. Savage, man, he's just so important for way too many things in the game. Offense, defense. Are you kidding me? Am I missing a health set? Oh, my God. I just end the video. End the video. I don't want to do it. All right, we're going to keep pushing. That's embarrassing. Sorry, guys. Savage is Savage. We all know he's so difficult to kill, and he works in so many different lineups. If you have Savage in there and you're trying to work on Starkiller or Malicos, this just sounds like an absolute pain. And because he gets so much turn meter, he's always going to be taking tons of turns, using his basic, and then he applies a debuff. So that's number one. Remember, Starkiller enemies do less damage if they have debuffs on them, and he's going to be calling Starkiller. Because like basically what I'm trying to get at here, guys, I find it improbable that Starkiller will not get his ultimate off when he's in a team like this. This team just sounds like, especially on defense, I would be surprised if they're not getting their ultimate. Malicos saving the team, Savage being an absolute annoyance, all the max health gains on the team that exists of Seer Junda, Malicos, Starkiller, and you guys see where I'm getting at, right? But in case it's a little too rich for your blood, trust me, I'm seeing that too. It's like, wow, Malicos, Starkiller, Savage, and Seer Junda, that's like 4 teams in one. But if this is a team that requires the Galactic Legend to beat, you better believe this could be on defense. That's just, at the end of the day, if a team is so good that it can be a Galactic Legend level team without being a Galactic Legend, it's going to be on defense. That's what we saw with Malicos. Malicos is basically a Galactic Legend. Like, no one really used him on offense until Jedi Knight Cal Kestis came around. So we got to wait and see. But you know, as long as this doesn't get beaten by like Bounty Hunters, General Grievous, and stuff like that, this should be very competitive on defense. Like, I don't even know if Traya could withstand all this crazy stuff coming their way. But of course, at the end of the day, it could just be as simple as we're making this typical Seer Junda unaligned Force User squad operate. It's a full unaligned Force User squad, so the stuff that we read throughout the kit that just won't work in a Starkiller or a Lord Vader lineup, you're going to get the full entire 100% benefit of Malicos, whereas in a Starkiller lineup, you're probably only getting 80% of the full kit, and in a Lord Vader lineup, you're probably getting like 70-60% of the full potential of Malicos. And we already know that Seer Junda is very difficult to beat in Grand Arena. If your Bad Batch counter sucks, you might be in trouble. But now with Malicos, it's guaranteed Bad Batch should not work. So this might just force out a Traya, and that's it. But I'm really hoping the Starkiller lineup is going to be the nutty thing that we're going to have to wait and see how it operates. Lord Vader. Okay, the thing about Lord Vader, I can't imagine that you would... Man, I want it to be true that you could use them all for Mandalorians, like the developers were saying, and then Malicos comes in and he satisfies the several layers of the unaligned Force users that they require. Remember, you get extra speed, mastery increases, extra max health, yada, yada, yada on the team. But remember, when you have an unaligned Force user, dark side unaligned Force user, it satisfies that clause so you can be competitive up against, you know, Master Kenobi and Rey's, trying to get their damage reduced by 30%. So boom, right there, Malicos has a thing going on. And talking about Twisted Prophecy, this is where Malicos should be able to get the speed up and stealth for 2 turns. So again, that 140 base speed, not going to be a problem, especially with the speed ramp on Lord Vader, as well as speed up. He should be very fast. So that's kind of really, in general, what Malicos would do. I just don't know when I look at the rest of Malicos' kit, unless he just hits for insane amounts of damage right from the very get-go. I can't imagine him completely replacing Maul. Sounds impractical, sounds improbable, but what I imagine is maybe something like this. Maul and Malicos tag teaming, kind of a big deal. So remember, Malicos will always assist off unaligned force users using special abilities. Seething Rage is what we call a special ability. Wow, Arnold. You guys are learning something new every day when you watch, right? So when Seething Rage is in full swing and Maul's doing jazz hands, every single time Maul's using this ability, he's calling Malicos for an assist. And depending on Malicos' damage, it could be some nutty damage. You could probably save a few stacks of your Anguish and dump them on like the next character you're trying to prioritize. So that might be something big right there. And just the fact that we have two unaligned force users, I fully expect, you'll get Maul to go. Then Malicos should go pretty shortly after because he's also pretty fast. And boom, Maul starts rolling. I think the opening combo is going to be much stronger with Lord Vader and Maul. I don't quite see... I want to convince myself that Maul can go to the Mandalorians and Malicos will just do what Maul was doing. Like developers are kind of alluding to it. You could use Malicos in this lineup in place of Maul. I'm having a hard time convincing myself, but at the end of the day, what I'm seeing is I have a good suspicion that the Seer Junda Starkiller lineup is going to be pretty nuts. And again, I know it's not a full unaligned force user squad, and you're going to miss out on a couple things. But I think we can agree that even the things that we're missing out on, like just bringing in Starkiller kind of fills in those gaps of the things that he misses out on. If the whole entire team is not aligned first, which is only a couple things, right? Like that gets missed out in there. So there's only a few claws that require a full unaligned force user squad. The rest, they might require unaligned force user lead. So that's what I'm kind of getting. That's why I said I think you could still enjoy like 80% plus of Malicos' kit in a Starkiller lineup. So we'll have to wait and see. I don't know, guys. I'm just really excited about this character. I'm really hoping we're ending the year. I mean, we're still going to get the announcement of the next Conquest character, but we just likely won't unlock it until like early January. Most likely. Yeah, I mean, actually, I don't know. There might be a slight chance we unlock it before the end of the year. It depends. I don't know. It usually takes about a month and a half. So there might be one more Conquest character that we unlock this year, but generally, Boba Fett Sign of Jango Scythe, we've unlocked them in January of the following year. So time will tell, y'all. Nonetheless, guys, thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you guys are ready to get our hands dirty with Malicos because this boy, whatever it might be, I want to believe he's going to be like a Maul, Commander Tano Malgus. I'm hoping more in the range of Commander Tano Malgus, Commander Tano Maul, because there's several teams, compositions he could possibly fit in. Or maybe at the end of the day, he'll just go in a Lord Vader squad. A lot of opportunities, unlike things like Trench or Scythe, where they're only kind of a one-purpose thing. I think we might have a bigger future for this guy. So let's hope he maintains his viability, and hopefully whenever you guys get him, man, you have to put a big smile on your face. Leave that like, comment down below. It's been a fun time talking about it. But hey, we're close to the finish line. We'll be finding out the answers very shortly. And always remember, until we meet again, how it's great to be in the Empire today.